just started, arguing within themselves. Let us shoot him. Let us waste him. I was scared. In fact, I was just stand still. I couldn't move. So my team leader now showed me aside and pleaded with them that I was new on the job, that they should forgive me, that I didn't know they were the ones. So after a while, in anger, they just drove off. And when they left, I was still standing there. I was freezed, just... The next day, my boss just, boy, you want to die early? I said, what happened? He said, those are the masters of the road, the armed robbers. At most times, actually, it was even right from my service here, because I remember Shagamu Road when we were taken on the road by some of our superiors as coppers then, because those days, coppers, they would just give us reflective jackets that we should follow them to go.
They don't even give you bulletproof.
With bullet, there's no leaf proof. They will just take us to the junction, then to the road to control traffic. And I recall that armed robbers do come around to request that we should give them that space of place that they wanted to operate. I will just vacate and relocate to another place. My second experience...
So armed robbers will come and actually negotiate with you and say, please.
Yes, I was a copper. I'm talking of 1991. Shagamu Ijebode Road. As coppers, we follow the regulars on patrol. They would just come around and ask us to vacate that space that they wanted to operate, and quietly we leave the place. My second experience in Aba was, I was actually the team leader. I was operating with special marshals. So we had a kind of route lining, and I happened to be the last line, being the team leader. Then there was this particular 505 that was being stopped at every point, but it refused to stop. But because I was the last line and having a motorbike with me, they were forced by the motorbike to stop. I noticed the headlamp was broken, and I noticed there were some uncomfortable movement within the vehicle. 3 guys at the rear seat, the driver and the guy in front. And the guy in front, very handsome, lovely guy, just he said, as a young officer, can we go? He was full of smiles, and I was hungry. I said, people have been stopping you all this while. You refuse to stop. Why didn't you stop? You are going nowhere. He would just smile. Young officer, can we go? Before he could even finish saying young officer, the guy at the back, 3 of them were on black bones. He just brought out the of the rifle, yes. So he didn't say anything. He just raised it on the rear. And I just say, I gave him compliment. I said, you can go, sir. So my mates were angry. They reacted. They were, oh, why did you allow? I said, you are free to follow them now. The experiences that we had. And I think the first casualty was in 1989. Among the coppers, the Federal Road Safety Corps foundation was laid on the coppers that were serving in 1988. So they were the first set that were recruited. They called them the pioneers. And the first casualty, I think, was in 1989 when they were on patrol. I think between Abeokuta, Itori axis. Armed robbers just finished operating. They entered the filling station to fuel. Then they saw this gentle young officer leaning on the patrol car. We do have these patrol lights then. And they were about leaving after forcing the fuel attendants to fill their tank. They decided they just made a detour on the vehicle. That was the first casualty that we had in Federal Safety Corps. So the trend has been like that for a while. And, that was even in the olden days. Even now, the public is getting more aggressive. The road users will threaten you that they will knock you down. And you think it's just an ordinary threat. And the next thing you say that you are down. And it's not everybody that is suit that is a gentleman, Mr. Priest. Every crime starts and ends on the highway. And these are the people we encounter on a daily basis. We operate at odd hours. We operate at odd places. When you are down, when you are busy sleeping at home, around 2 a.m., they will call me out that there's a crash. And I have to be there to rescue the person. I don't know the person you are rescuing. You just have to be there to save their lives. And you know anything hard can come. I recall on Kara Bridge when I was Sector Commander Lagos. I was on that road, I was attacked. It took the support of the DPO. I think, what's the name of this station after Kara? Were able to mobilize because they were stealing the items that got involved in a crash, these miscreants on that Kara Bridge. And we wanted to do our rescue, but the next thing they decided to attack. So it's just countless.
So there was a car crash.
Yes.
And you were trying to rescue the occupants of the car.
There was a truck that fell, and the content also, dropped from the vehicle. So we were just trying to. I was called because it was almost leading to. And so we had to mobilize La SEMA. We have to mobilize 2 trucks and what have you. In the course of that, although not quite long that we had answers, there was still tension all over the place then. That was what happened. So we attacked, but because we were able to get the intervention of the police, the tension was doused and we were able to complete the rescue operations. So we've had series of experiences all over the places.
Thank you. One of the things, and I also blame this administration for, is the fact that people don't take time out to sensitize the public on matters like these. Because most people say, what do FRSC want to do with gun? What? Now that you have said this story, and I'm sure some of the blogs will carry this particular segment of it, people will now understand the dangers road safety marshals encounter to secure our roads. And my wife's late father, Benedict Elechi Agunabo, was a former Assistant Controller General of Prisons. And he was the one who made the motion for guards in prison to carry weapons. His own weapon was 001 for the prisons.
Wow.
Because he said too many guards were lost during prison break.
Honestly. Because they are vulnerable.
So our road safety marshals too are vulnerable on the road, because if you had men with rifles against men with rifles and you are wearing bulletproof, they will think about it.
Because it's not about the road users. It's about the protection of the men. Like I just mentioned, night rescue. Because of the series of crashes that happened at night, Mr. President just gave the mandate that we should extend our night operations to the night. Because what we do at present is we stay back in the office and we wait for any come around for rescue. And it becomes a problem depending on the time. So how do we protect ourselves because we want to go and protect others? And when you even have attacks, we just talk about squad, that when you are attacked, there are times you have mob attacks. People that are on drugs, people that are criminals. And you see, like my boss said, all these people that you are talking about that are serving this nation in the name of being an officer of Federal Safety Corps, when they are killed, it's not just about them being wasted. You know the effects on their family, on their friends. There's no single person in Nigeria today, one way or the other, that is not related to FRSC. It's either you have a friend among them, it's either you are related to them, it's either you have encountered them in the course of, having one operation. Even the fact that you have driver's license, you are a friend to Federal Safety Corps. Because it's still the process. So how do we protect these categories of men that are always working 24 hours to protect others? In the entire world, it's only in Nigeria that you do enforcement as a road safety officer, as a traffic officer, that you are not even harmed. People always talk about technology. Even in the Western world, there's no technology that is useful without physical presence. In United States, you see the traffic man that is armed with his pistol. It's not how many people has he killed among the citizens, but it's to protect himself. Because the man is about to approach, could be a armed person. We see them, with courtesy, telling the man to put his hands on the steering. The system, if you want to recall, when civil defense was also created, they were asked to be pursuing smugglers and bunkers with stick until they started harvesting casualties on daily basis. So it now occurred to us that there's no enforcement without strength of enforcer. You just mentioned bulletproof. You are open there, and armed robber strikes, and they hit a bullet. Because you don't have anything to defend yourself, the next thing you are down. So it takes a lot. So the way people are taking it is like, at times, issue of enforcement, it's not just about Nigeria. Naturally, human beings, we don't like to be controlled. So they love the level of vulnerability of Federal Road Safety Corps so that it's easier. So when you're on the road, they can tell you, I will strike you off that road if you don't get out of there. Have you not been seeing the way they are insulting us?
Yeah, and I also see Federal Road Safety officers on car bonnets while the cars are speeding away.
Yes, those are part of those are part of the crisis we try to manage. Because you hardly if you know that this man has the tendency to defend himself, you won't treat him like that. He sees him, he waves him, he can afford to just pick him on that bonnet and nothing happens. Many of them have been driven to their death. But we thank God. What is more important is the passion. Because if you don't have the passion to save life, you'll not even find yourself rendering such services. But in the last 38 years, more than 300 of our personnel have been lost to attacks on the highway. So we just feel, well, you were in Lagos with me when ENSAS struck.
Were there any FRSC casualties?
My entire office was burnt down. 14 patrol vehicles, a 500 kV generator that they use your tax paid to procure. I was only lucky I had intelligence that I should vacate my men from the office. Maybe we'll have recorded our own casualties too. Only one was injured, but the entire premises was set ablaze. Freeze. Can I bust your bubble?
Go ahead, sir.
It's only one man with one rifle that scared the people out of that premises to rescue us. That attack maybe would have been able to survive it if we had just one person to say, maybe it's just to raise a bullet on the air, and nobody wants to die anyway. So it's just about protecting us against attack, not against innocent citizens that are going about their business. And nobody releases arms to people when they are not well trained. How many are police killed? How many are civil defense killed? How many are the military? They are not a bunch of idiots and crazy people. We are state actors. We have the responsibility to protect ourselves as enforcers. And that's just what my boss tried to narrate. So I just told you my experiences. For those that were not too lucky, they are under the grave.
So, because I know you don't have too much time, I want to get to the core of the question, even though this is so interesting. Normally, when we have such high-level conversations that are intellectual, when it's not like it's gossip, we struggle with the numbers, but we already have 160 people watching live, which is a lot for such a conversation. And I'm happy that Nigerians are interested in the safety of their own lives on the roads. Now, I want to ask, from the FRSC's perspective, what are the biggest causes of road accidents in Nigeria today?
Let's say if you want to judge it from academics, before I go to the practical, it is listed that we have three major factors of road traffic crashes, factors that cause road traffic crash. We have the human factor, we have the environmental factor, and we also have the mechanical factor, which is the vehicle. And research has confirmed that among all these three factors that I mentioned, that the human factor played a major role. Are you talking of reckless driving? Are you talking of speeding, drunk driving, distracted driving, fatigue, disregard to traffic rules? You are very familiar with Abuja. Virtually on daily basis, you see crashes at intersection. Not because the vehicle's brake failed, but because somebody felt the lighting system or the traffic light has no business with him because he is a big boy that must not respect the light. And before you know it, the other man is coming from the other side too. The next thing, head-on collision at intersections. So poorly maintained vehicles under the mechanical vehicle as a factor, one out as faulty brakes, substandard spare parts, and we also talk of the environmental too. That has to do with the condition of the road that many of us will always want to attribute to the major cause of road traffic crashes, but that's not always the major cause. I always have this attitude anytime I have reason to be on the road. If I get to a bad spot, I will always ask myself, thousands of vehicles have passed. I'm not celebrating bad roads. I'm just being practical and sincere here. That thousands of vehicles have passed on the same road without getting involved in a crash. So how will not get involved in a crash too? Because if anything happens to me, it's not the authority that will suffer it. It's me, it's my vehicle, it's my family. So I will still manage the same road and go, just manage through. Because we've realized that even good roads leads to more death in Nigeria today because of lack of discipline of drivers. Because the fatality we are talking about is a function of speed. If you drive under the regulation, under the speed limit given to you by Federal Safety Corps, there's every tendency that even if you get involved in a crash, life will not be involved. But if you are going on 140, 150, any little impact, the person is thrown off. So these are the three major factors that causes road traffic crashes on Nigerian roads.
How much of this is due to driver behavior versus infrastructural challenges? You spoke about the roads being bad. Let's talk about driver behavior. I know some people that don't like driving slow. They want to maximize their vehicles. And with the substances, I don't want to use the word DRUG because of community guidelines on social media, but there's like a pandemic of substance misuse in Nigeria today. Every family has one or two people who have been to rehab before regarding substance. So, talking about the road users versus the infrastructure, what do you think is, in your opinion, the biggest causative agent when it comes to road accidents?
I will give it to driver's behavior. Because it takes the driver to control the vehicle, and it also takes the driver to drive the way defensively for him not to be involved in a crash on a bad road. So the behavior of the driver is the one that determines what the road will give back to him, if I may put it that way. In 2022, there was a crash that happened at Lekki when some youths were coming back from a night party. If you recall, that was after Ajah, tending towards Lekki axis, towards Chevron. They were on top speed, and during the rescue, it was confirmed that they were all smelling of alcohol. They ran into a truck that was parked by the roadside, and the 7 of them died instantly.
Wow.
We always run one adage in FRSC that if you have reason to go to a party, one person among you that is going to drive must stay off alcohol or substance, because that's what has really taken over the space now. Most of our youths are on substance. It has led to disrespect for law enforcers. It impairs their judgment anytime they are on the road. You know, when you're on substance, there's every tendency for you to be fearless. When the law says you go 100 kilometers per hour, you see it as too insignificant for you to manage with the kind of vehicles you are riding and the good road. And at the end of the day, what do you see? While they are driving, they smoke, they make calls, which is the highest height of distraction that you can encounter in the course of driving. That has been the major cause of problem we're even having today. People text while driving.
The text is the worst. If you are, for instance, if you are driving,
Yes.
and you have, like most modern cars, your phone connects to the audio system, so it's like listening to the radio because you are talking. But you see, even with that, I remember driving using hands-free, and my sister was giving me some family bad news, and
Exactly.
as I was reversing, I scratched my alloy wheel on the curb. So that made me realize that sometimes, yes, you are driving, you are having a normal what if there's bad news broken to you?
Thank you very much.
How do you react?
The law, the rule is use of phone while driving. That's the offense. So use of phone is not just about holding phone. That's the mistake we are making. So when they say the offense you have committed is use of phone while driving, even the hand-free, is the information that goes into you that distorts your concentration. Because either bad or good news, even when you are given good news, as you are seated now, you just receive call that while you are driving, information came into you that you want some, or your wife give birth, or something pleasant. There's tendency for you to react, then the next thing you lose control. And the same thing goes with bad news. And that's why we say if you have reason to receive that call, it's either you ignore it and wait for another time, because a dead man cannot receive another call. If you lose concentration and you find yourself in Third Mainland Bridge Lagoon or water, you can't come back. And even when they call you tomorrow, you can't pick that call again.
You can't pick that call, absolutely.
But you can only be scolded for not picking the call while you are being called, and you still have time to explain. Or you take your time to park off the road and receive that call. There's no call that is too important enough for you to risk your life or risk other people's lives. There are people that were making calls and ran into Okada rider or ran into bystanders or pedestrians by the road. Even if a pedestrian is crossing the express that is forbidden for him, it is not enough for you to give him a death sentence.
But we will talk about that one separately. Because in all fairness, that is so unfair. A guy driving in Lekki overhead bridge, and somebody ran across the road. Nigerian, we have to talk, we will still come to Nigerian problem. How do you run across the road under a pedestrian bridge? And then the car hit him because on the other side an Okada was trying to cross the median. So the guy was coming at speed, so he tried to avoid the Okada, and the passenger jumped in front of him and he hit the passenger, and I think he bowed the passenger on the spot. People started beating him. I got there, I was like, this passenger that ran across the road under the pedestrian bridge, why are you not holding this passenger? Should anybody be crossing the road within how many meters of especially when it is now directly under the pedestrian bridge?
That's committed an offense. But what we are still saying is that it's not.
I understand, sir.
Yes, but when that one, the situation you just mentioned now is a kind of an helpless one, because the guy cannot waste his own life to protect another person's life. It's something that came unprepared, unplanned. And it's unfortunate for that guy. Maybe when he's given opportunity to come around again, he will learn how to use the pedestrian
Use the
bridge.
pedestrian bridge. Another thing I drew inference from is knowledge and awareness of the rules. I thought that it is okay to use hands free as long as you are not carrying the phone to your ear. Hello, how can we? You understand? I always believe that it is as long as you are picking it through the car speaker, the phone is somewhere. If you peep into my car, you not even see the phone because the phone is charging
It's
somewhere in the
distracted. We call it distracted driving.
driving.
Let me enlighten you better on this. If you are speaking with the person beside you because you want to give you the same narrative that is the same thing. If you are speaking with the man beside you in the vehicle, do you imagine him?
No.
Do you imagine the man you are talking with inside the vehicle with
You can see him.
You can see him, but when you're someone from outside, you have to imagine him. That's why a Yoruba man will prostrate for his father while on phone. Or a uniform man will give compliment to his boss even without seeing him. Why talking to him on phone? Because he imagines. And when you imagine, if you want to do this, maybe you just go to a very safe space. Drive and make call. Look at the road. And when you drop the call, still look at the road, whether it's the same thing you are seeing. When you are not making call, the road becomes clearer. When you are making call, you will have the impression that you are seeing the road, but it's not the same road you are seeing.
Absolutely.
The moment you drop the phone is a different picture entirely. And that is why we say distracted driving as killed, even on the express. He says, I'm free, is it as long as you are distracted? That's what we're talking about.
And this thing you said, sir, I remember an Ibadan girl withdrawing money from the ATM. As the ATM was giving her the money, she was kneeling down to collect it. It was giving her the money. She was kneeling down to. So imagine she's driving and ekalema, ekalesa.
If you are speaking with your boss, you are like our uniform job. Unconsciously, you stand up without the man seeing you. Unconsciously. Now imagine if you are driving and your boss called. A man was arrested one time by the traffic lights, making calls while the traffic was on red light. And somebody came, one lawyer, one pocket guy, let me not say a lawyer, and said the man was making call because the light was red, was on red. And I asked the question, assuming he's speaking with his boss while waiting for the light to go green. When the light go green, tell the boss, sir, the light is on green, I have to go now. Is that what will be the reaction? And be able to tell the boss that it's before the traffic light when he was answering his call and he will have to cut his boss off. It takes a lot.
I understand. Now, still on rules and regulations and familiarizing with rules and regulations, especially for us, and the evolution of the auto industry. Now we have electric cars and all sorts. I had an encounter with FRSC once, and I'll tell you my story. You know, as a motorist, you are mandated to have a spare tire. It is part of the rules and regulation. Now, I used to have a 2020 Camaro convertible, a sports car, that has no space for spare tire or jack or anything. What the car comes with is run flat tires. Even if the tire bursts, you can still drive it home. So they stopped me and they said, I had the warning triangle, but which didn't come with the car because the manufacturers believe that you don't need it. The car will take you home if your tire even bursts. But I bought fire extinguisher, all things I needed. But there was I bought a spare tire, but there was no space to put it in the car. So it's either I'm driving the car and the spare tire is sitting on the passenger seat with me because there were only 2 seats. So when the FRSC stopped me, I showed him the car manual. I said, there is no spare tire with this vehicle. And I showed him on the car that these tires are run flat, zero pressure. Even if you bleed the 4 tires, it will drive like normal.
Yes.
The guy left me on recognition. Say, oh, it's Daddy Freeze. But what if it wasn't Daddy Freeze? How do we deal with systems where the auto industry has evolved? Many cars these days don't even come with spare wheels anymore because they are equipped with run flat tires, or they have tire sealant, that thing that you put in the tire and then you will blow it and the tire will at least take you home. How does the FRSC and other institutions upgrade to be in line with global practices? Because if you drive a car like that in America or the UK or the US, you will have no problem as long as you have the alternative. So I just wanted to pick you on that, sir.
So I think that should be 2007.
Yes.
We have an offense in the Federal Safety Corps regulations. Lifetime violation.
Lifetime violation.
LSV, LSD,
lifetime
violation. Or which under it you have the misuse of your lighting system, headlamp, trafficators, like that. In 2007, our men encountered a man, and that should be around 11 a.m. The headlamp was on, and by virtue of the FRSC regulation, is an offense. The man that arrested him insisted that he has committed an offense. And the owner of the vehicle says, this is the way this vehicle came from US. That the moment your ignition is on,
the headlight is on.
Automatically be on. So this thing you just mentioned, that's what just gave me a kind of flashback. There's evolution in everything. I've told people severally, those that are interested to know, that transportation sector is very dynamic. New things, new vehicles coming on board. At times we go outside the country. What we see that is new, when we come back, we keep quiet. Rather than, reflecting it within our system for people to know that things have evolved. This thing you just came up with now was discussed at length at our other management meeting. Because we don't have management meeting where issues are reviewed. We get feedback from the field, both negative and positive. And why we came up with this issue that you mentioned now was the situation we are encountering at present. Mandate was given to all commercial vehicles that they must fix speed limit device. And we now realize that some vehicles come into the country with inbuilt speed limit device. You get the point now. So how do you reconcile it? Our men who have been given the mandate that all commercial vehicles must have it. They must install it. And the ones that are being installed by vendors are known to us. We've been taught the act on how to inspect it. So when these people come around, you were looking for that particular one, he's not there. You now say, no, you have committed an offense. But the man will just tell you that this thing has been built all along from wherever I got the vehicle from. But the clause there, maybe where the vehicle is coming from, operates with mileage, not kilometers per hour, like we operate in Nigeria. So you have to redirect the system back to Nigerian system. So we know that we do face this dynamism on regular basis, and we take note of them. And that's why we review our regulations regularly so that it can meet up with the world standard.
Thank you very much. Please consider this no spare tire thing too in your general meeting, sir. So that those of us that have cars that have zero pressure tires will be able to drive our cars without.
Is that the same thing that translates to people changing, reconverting their number plate space to logo? Benz, Citroen, with the space that is meant for your number plates, you now put the logo of your vehicle.
That is another thing I wanted to talk about.
That's another.
Because
So when the vehicle knocks somebody down, what you see rather than picking the number is the brand of the vehicle you see, is the logo of the vehicle. Every rule that is put in place are well researched before we arrive at it. And when it's becoming obsolete, we also review it.
thank you very much, sir. I really, really, really like that. Let's talk about rapid population growth and urbanization. Highways are now cutting through roads that were not meant to deal with traffic volume. For instance, the other day, I was driving to shoot Honest Bunch in Orchard Road, and there was a trailer, those type of trailers that bend, and that road was not made for that kind of trailer. So the trailer was going 15 times, go forward, turn, come back a little, go forward again, turn back. So, what would you say the impact of population growth, urbanization, and all that? How has that impacted road safety, sir?
Yes. Anytime you have reason to talk about road safety, it's all about the man, the human being, protecting them in the use of the road. And when you talk of urbanization, you are talking of increased congestion. You are talking of pedestrian crossing indiscriminately. You are talking of that's crossing the highway, because highway is not about the status of the road, it's the use of that road. When the traffic volume increases, it can move from local road to highway naturally, because the traffic volume has increased. Let me use this instance. Maybe you agree with me that at the early stage, Ajah was never highway, because virtually most of the vehicle ends at Lekki before urbanization starts creeping into Ajah towards. So when you are getting to Ajah, you see that the road becomes narrow. The traffic volume is not much. People cross from one side to the other, but the traffic volume now is a different ballgame entirely. Meanwhile, the urbanization, or let me say, the locals are there when this urbanization came to meet them. So it's now for them to realign themselves with the latest developments. Because one, the trucks going towards the Jebode through Ekpe will not stop movement, because they are cutting through the locals. But the global status on the use of built up area says that no vehicle is expected to go more than 30 kilometers per hour when it gets to built up area. Is they are coming from Lagos Ibadan Express now. The rule is that the moment you get to Mowe, your kilometers coverage must reduce to 30 kilometers per hour, because you know that certainly commercial activities will start building up from there. You see Redeemed Church by here, you see all other companies and structures around there, compared to where you are coming from Ogere, where the road is free, nobody is moving. And that is what the rule says. And this creates conflict between fast moving and local activities. That's why they came up with that rule under the global safe system approach, that no vehicle should go beyond 30 kilometers per hour when it gets to built up area. We give advocacy on this regularly. We speak to the road users, and that's why it's even part of our recommendation that brings about building of pedestrian bridges around this built up area. Because either you like it or not, people must move from one location to the other. But when there's no means of crossing, they become helpless. Become helpless. And you cannot predict the recklessness of this driver. You don't even know the state of mind. Somebody will use the same speed movement from Ibadan to Lagos, irrespective of what he encounters along the road. So we talk to the locals. We do go there and speak to them. We also talk to the road users too. That's the vehicle, the motorists, on need for them to be cautioned when they get to built up area. And that's what urbanization has really cost us. Some lives have been lost in the course of this. So it is need for caution, really.
Let's talk about truck drivers. What problems do they face compared to other road users? Because at the bottom of this conversation is still that truck incident that happened in Auchi.
Well, anytime we have reason to talk about the hazard of truck on our roads is more of a pathetic one for us. Because even we are victims too. Some of our men too have been run down by this truck in the course of their engagement on the road, and so we know where you are coming from when the issues are raised. Because when you talk, one thing that is unique about these truck vehicles, depending on the one you are actually looking at, is it the one that deals on wet cargo or the one that deals on the dry cargo? We always believe that the most dangerous one in the entire globe is the wet cargo, the one that carries fuel or gas. And why we have this series of problems with them is, number one, unlike smaller cars, they drive long hours. We have provisions because we believe that it's dangerous. Like my boss said yesterday when he was answering questions, you cannot be running after a loaded tanker on the highway. Okay. I hope you are getting my point. I just noticed that a truck that is carrying 45,000 liters of fuel does not have side mirror, the two sides. And you know that the inner mirror is useless in that kind of vehicle. And it's going on 70 kilometers per hour. Freeze, how do you stop such vehicle? When the man is already under influence and he has made up his mind not to stop, if you insist, it's either you perish along with him or you create the hazard that you'll not be able to manage the crisis. So because of the hours they have traveled, they travel long hours. Imagine somebody moving fuel from Lagos going to Kano. That's close to 900 kilometers. Even if we confirm that the vehicle is in good state in Lagos, what of all the rough edges? It's true. Before getting to Kano, potholes, bad roads, good roads. So it cannot be the same. And by the time he traveled that far, he's already fatigued. He comes across, difficult terrain. There are times you will need to reverse, and the way I will reverse a smaller saloon car is different from the way. So they pass through a lot. And coupled with the poor maintenance of some of the vehicles. And this issue of where are you? Do you know at times they stay weeks at the loading point, already tired, before eventually they are loaded. And the pressure also from the owners of the vehicle is also waiting for them. So they manage a lot of things. And some of them will also complain about the insecurity on the road. They are driving, they have it in Lagos, they have a little breakdown. And we bombard them. That unless they give them money, they will not allow them to go. So all these are the challenges these people are encounter that makes them to be aggressive on the road. You can imagine after passing through those rigors, he comes across the road safety personnel trying to tell him that he has no side mirror, he has no number. He has the next thing, he pours all the aggression on these gentlemen that feels well they are rendering service to protect other road users from being hurt. So those are the problems these categories of road users do encounter.
Let's talk about proxy drivers. I'm sure you've heard of that term before. A company like maybe Dangote or BUA hire a driver. But then the driver now sub-hires another driver who drives for him. What do you think that poses as a problem? And how is FRSC addressing this issue?
At the early stage, we're not very much aware of this until when we started having crises of, especially this issue of containers falling on other
Vehicles.
Yes, so we started getting worried. What could be the cause of all this? What's happening? Are these people not well trained? And that's when this story started coming up that at times the man will go and sleep, and motorboy, the so-called proxy driver, will take over. So the man that was licensed to drive the vehicle will now hand over the vehicle to a boy that's never passed through driving school. They know the rudiment of making use of the road because he can move the vehicle. That he was even taught by his own master. The next thing he put up such a dangerous vehicle on the highway, creating problems for other road users. We started addressing it with proper certification of drivers. And because most of these things do happen while on transit, FRSC cannot be everywhere. Even if we do route lining up throughout the 200,000 Nigerian road network, we can't cover with the less than 30,000 workforce that we have. So what we do mostly is to continue to talk. We increase our patrol activities where we'll do a kind of sampling, random sampling, stop the trucks when we're able to stop them, or ask for the driver's license or certification. But the major one is to collaborate with the regulated companies where we can engage them for them to know the implication of what their drivers are doing. I'm sure you have seen so many vehicles that are involved in crashes that are beyond repairs, that the owner will sit somewhere thinking that his item is coming, his vehicle is coming back to him. But one proxy driver has drove it into ditch, and all the items and the vehicle perished. So it's like a difficult thing to enforce. But the only thing that has assisted us in managing it is what we introduced in 2007, the one we call R3SS, Road Transport Safety Standardization Scheme, where we say all vehicles with more than 5 vehicles in their fleet, that's companies now, must be registered under federal road safety regulations. So it enables us to attend to these categories of operators and also to be able to, attend to the activities of their drivers. And to a large extent, it has really helped us in managing this particular one. But we let them know that it's happening, just like you said, and they are very much sensitive to that now.
Thank you very much. Now, let us talk about big haulage companies like Dangote and BUA. What is the FRSC doing to work with such corporate bodies? How does the FRSC work with those bodies that have huge fleets? Before I brought you on, I was doing some research on Dangote, and I found out that Dangote has 12,000 trucks on the road. At any point, I think there are 6,000. They have 12,000 trucks, and at any point, there are 6,000. Then another like 2,000 people who are affiliated with Dangote and are putting Dangote logo on their trucks. So how does the FRSC manage such a fleet? How is this? What are you doing to enforce standards, especially with such a huge volume?
I love that phrase, manage such a fleet. You say A, and you confirm that just one has close to 50 or 12,000, 15,000, according to your research.
12,000, thereabout.
12,000. And you also had recently that more CNGs in thousands are also coming in. Yes. On daily basis, an average of 6,000 wet cargoes move on Nigerian road network.
Every day.
Every day, loaded from the ports, in circulations all over the Federation.
Wow.
You can now see how overwhelming it can be. You spoke about Dangote, you've not spoken about Bois, you've not spoken about Lafarge, you've not, Now imagine the number of trucks that are parading Nigerian roads on daily basis. Still, in the midst of this, we are expected to put up a stunt or miracle day and night to manage. Nigerians are not looking at that side of the humongous challenges of managing these vehicles. Prior to 2007, prior to 2007, it was difficult because it was all commerce affair. That's why it's like a miracle why we are still surviving, why we are able to thank God for that policy that I mentioned. Before 2007, all commerce, anybody, you just pick your truck and you move on. Yes. Death all over, crashes, vehicles are abandoned on their way. I'm sure you recall a particular year where there was vehicles were littered all over the Federation. Anywhere the vehicle breaks down, they park it there and leave. We came in because the only thing that you can as well tell me now, how can enforcement manage 12,000 vehicles plus? I've not mentioned commercial vehicles that carry passengers. As at the last count we had last year, we recorded about 3 million commercial vehicles regulated, carrying close to 33 million people for about 6 months. Now, you are now talking of one fleet operators now having close to 12,000. What of dual zone? What of all the independent ones? So it takes policy to manage this, and that's what we came up with in 2007. Not enforcement. It will overwhelm enforcement. That's why we now say, okay, let us have policy that all this, and there are 3 major items that we look at for. The status of the vehicle, the status of the driver, and the status of the operators. Is the vehicle fit to be on Nigerian road on regular basis? Oh, okay. Let me just cut short this. When I was in Lagos, there was this crash that occurred, I think before I entered Lagos, 2019. You remember when the tanker spilled its contents and so many lives were lost on Otedola Road.
Yeah.
Close to 39 people were killed, about 60-something vehicles burnt. And somebody said the witches and wizards were on that particular location. Even the government had to cut off the tree so that they were able to erase the witch. But after cutting the tree, the following day, another crash occurred. The moment I entered Lake, the first point of call was Dangote Library. I went with some cameramen. I said, I want to know the witch and wizard that are operating around that terrain. So we waited. I think it's channels I went. We waited. They focused their camera on that bridge. Maybe we can see the wind fly from that. But I now notice that inward Lagos, the other side of Otedola, crashes don't happen there. But outward Lagos, that's where we have the crisis. And why? When the vehicle is not loaded, it glazes through the hill easily, inward Lagos. But when it's loaded, it's coming out, either with carrying container or carrying wet cargo. Because the capacity of the engine cannot carry the contents, it rolls back and create the crisis we are having. And a company came up to boast, a marketer, that in the last 7 years, with thousands of trucks they have on the highway, they've not been involved in a crash. Let me not mention, maybe you don't permit. So
you can mention.
Total, let me mention. Total feelings, total oil company or what have you. Said in the last 7 years, they've not been involved in it, despite the thousands of tankers they have. How did they do it? One, every vehicle that is brought into the country are new vehicles. Unlike the man that brought in a vehicle that has spent 30 years outside the country before bringing it in and still use it as new. Secondly, all their drivers are well recruited. They are not well trained to be a truck driver. You can't work with Total. And every year, they engage in training and retraining of their drivers. We are the ones that do it for them before they now open up their own training school. Every year. And you recall that they said faith coming by hearing and hearing and hearing.
Hearing.
Which also is synonymous to perfection. And secondly, they have a perfect welfare system for their drivers. The drivers cannot be stranded where you sleep anyhow when you are on transit. The moment it is 7 o'clock, anywhere you are, you must park and take the best rest. And the 4-hour, 30 minutes rest after 4 hours long journey is also recognized. It's a mandate, it's a policy. They have the best of workshop. If that vehicle has a knot problem, you can't move it out of the premises. Now, my brother, how come they will not have a perfect system? They have a driver that is well trained, that they take care of his welfare, they have good vehicles, and they have a good standard operation. That any little thing you are off. So now compare it to these other people. So we've been having a long-standing relationship with Dangote.
Tell us about your relationship with Dangote.
Yes, as regards issue, they were among the first that got involved in the road transport safety standardization scheme that was introduced in 2007, where all their activities annually we do inspection and certification and training and retraining. The pockets of problems we have seen involving their vehicles are one, human error. Because no matter how much you train somebody, the thoughts, the psychological mindset of the driver is beyond both the operator and FRSC. We don't know what the man has in mind. We don't know what he's thinking per time. And the second one is like at times you hear a kind of rejoinder anytime a crash occur. I think Very Dark Man was able to also leak that information too. When a crash occur, the next thing you see Dangote saying that vehicle does not belong to us. It's not part of our fleet, but it's carrying your brand. We have engaged Dangote severally, even till 2 days ago. My commercial was in a very, serious meeting with the management of Dangote Cement Transports. They were in the office here, still in line with what we're talking about.
Yeah, because I was supposed to have this conversation with you yesterday, and you said that
those are the people who were for you to know, there's this adage in Yoruba land that as long as there's lice in the hair, blood cannot cease from the nail. So an indication that every day we continue to engage them all over the world. There's no country in the entire world that crashes don't occur. And I can stand to be corrected that Nigeria must be paraded the highest number of trucks in the entire world. Just one, 12,000, another one. And that's where we talk about, integration of our modes of transportation. Where the waterways can be linked with railway, the railway can be linked, the one that belongs to pipe go to the pipe. It will definitely reduce all this, because the space, when there's space for movement, there's reduction in road traffic crashes. Do you agree that with me?
Absolutely.
It's only when we have congestion that we have chaotic situation that people want to maneuver by all means and leads into all this chaotic situation that we have all over the places. But when you have free, imagine the rail taking about 500 pushes from Lagos to Kano. What have you taken off the road? You have taken about 500 trucks off the road.
Absolutely.
That space will be there for, for people to maneuver and drive freely without any fear. So this is a kind of partnership. And we also advise them, which they are doing, which they have, because they also narrated to us. When you have tracking system, monitoring the attitude of your drivers, you'll be able to. And the management confirmed to us that they don't spare, they don't look back in terminating the appointment of whoever that wants to embarrass their names. And it was also agreed that if anybody is using your brand, it's your company they are destroying. So when you have dissociate from company, remove your brand from them. So that when they get involved in crisis, let them bear their father's name. Not that the ID card on the company is different, the body of this thing is different. And these are all the efforts they put in place to be able to get it right. And we're with them in all this. We conduct their training in thousands. And we do the inspections regularly. But human error are just the pockets of crisis that we have all over the places.
If you had one word to say to operators like Bua, Dangote, and all, as an FRSC official and a representation of road safety in Nigeria as a whole, what would you like to see these companies do to improve road safety?
Thank you very much. Standard. They should sustain the standard of road transport safety standardization scheme. Is very clear. Any company that adheres to it, just like Total, will have the best. They didn't carry whoever or they didn't get it from the moon. It's not rocket science. They work for it. When you do what is right, get the right vehicle, get the right driver well trained. Not just, when we say training and retraining, it's capacity building. Which driving school did that driver go to? Which certification? Is he qualified to drive the kind of vehicles we are giving to him? The way we drive cars is not the way we drive trucks. So you have to profile these drivers very well to be sure that they are taught how to drive this vehicle. Before we talk of training and retraining, maintenance of the vehicle. It's not the truck is not a vehicle that is quickly go and come back. The vehicle might not return. So when it's not fit to be on the road, make sure you don't put it on the road. And when our men are out for certification, there should be that free interface, because it's all about, when we talk about safety, it's not about profit, it's about saving people's lives. It's about protecting other road users. So you cannot say, like a friend will always say, that there is no amount of money that you are going to make from a business that is worth the life of one road user that business will keep. So what should be ultimate is the safety of road users. Do your own side of the road. We do our of the part of the job of responsibility, because it's everybody's responsibility. And Federal Road Safety Corps will not desist from enforcement and rolling out the policies that can assist in creating a safe motoring environment for the country.
Thank you so much. Let me just ask one question and then we open everything to the public. I'll just lump two questions in one. When accidents happen, how quickly does FRSC engage? And what is the process? And what are the penalties or corrective actions typically following drivers found guilty of misconduct when it comes to accidents or misconduct in general?
Yes, in line with the 5 pillars of United Nations, I think the number 5 is post-crash care, which is as important as the first 4. Because when a crash occurs, which is inevitable at times, how soon can you get to the spot? And how good can you save other people's lives? That's why when you look at triad, we don't think about the dead. When we get to this thing, the moment it's like someone said, "It's chop off. What's your business start?" What is important that moment is those that are still alive. But one thing that is quite important is information. Even if you are next to the crash and there's no information to tell you that there's a crash somewhere, you might not be able to do the right thing. FRSC has gotten to the point where we have a response time of 10 minutes maximum. And how did you get to this? Is by virtue of introduction of technology. We have our toll-free line 122. That anytime you have reason to call that line, will link up with the closest command to the point of that crash for immediate rescue. And like I said, our rescue operation is 24 hours. Though night could be a bit difficult because of security of our men and immediate help. But we still go. We have mastered that. So what we do is that when the call comes, we reach out to our men, they get to the scene. And the first thing you do at the scene is to cordon off in order to prevent another crash from happening, because it has happened in the past when the course of rescue, another more terrible crash will occur. So you cordon off the area and attend to the victims. But what we have also mastered is that we have been able to train some supporters, the first response attendants. That man, artisan that is seen by the roadside is not just artisans working for FRSC. When I was in Lagos, along the Mowe axis, we convert them. They even have ID card. When a crash will occur, they are the first to get to the scene. And the first thing they do is to alert us.
People like vulcanizers.
Organizer. That woman may be selling tomato there that they were the first responders that were trained in Ojudu when I was there. And it was done all over the federation. So they get information to us and I try to attend to the people, the one they can do. And we also opportunity to, keep passerbys, standbys that are unable to assist to stay off. Because that's a major problem we have at rescue. Spectators who have got nothing.
I want to share.
It's not just to share. They are busy also sending videos, recording, and those are they felt you can't be having fun at the detriment of a dying man. That's why we feel we have lost it most time. Where's our sympathy? Where have we thrown that emotion that we don't feel anything for our fellow human being again? So rather than giving a happy hand, they are busy recording and making funny comments at it. So we ignore all those things to enable us to concentrate. And these are the things we have done over there. And what has even helped us further, we have a FRSC mobile app that is introduced by the current Corps Marshal, Sheikh Mohammed MNI, where part of the functionality is to record as it happens. And we have our situation room that on real time, the information gets there accordingly for prompt attention to the victims. And these are the things we do. And these are that's why we do feel it. Because when you look at the three major functions of FRSC, we remove obstructions from our roads, we give public enlightenment, we do traffic control, we do rescue, and we do enforcement. When Freeze was going home this evening and he got stopped, if he sees my men controlling traffic, he hails them. When you see them at accident victims, you pray for them because they are doing rescue. When they remove obstruction from the road, you say kudos. But when they turn around to arrest you for making calls while driving, you pour the causes on their heads. That is the scenario in the country today. But we are not deterred. Because what is more important is that single life that you are saving could be your own.
Absolutely. Jessica Mao, thank you so much. And a final question, Nigerian factor on the roads. Nigerianness. How does the FRSC deal with that? I'll give you an example. I'm driving in and I always record these things.
Yes.
A truck or a bus that has no brake light is transporting long iron rods.
Yes.
The back door is open, or the boot, or the trunk, and then they tie a red rag to it. You can't see that in any country in the world.
Even try to tie red light. Some will put caution sign, that rose. So the red can turn to steel.
The other day on my street, a man carried a fridge on his head, and cars were following him. And then he got to a point and bumped and almost fell, throwing the fridge on the car behind.
Yeah.
Those are Nigerian factors, things you will never see in any civilized country. How does the FRSC deal with Nigerian factors on the road? I'm going to bring just two people because I know you are tired, sir. We did not intend to stay this long, but it's such an enlightening and beautiful conversation. I'm so happy to be here, and I myself learned a lot. I'm going to bring just two people to ask one question each, and then we round this off. But while I'm bringing them up, sir, Nigerian factor, what does the FRSC do, or how does the FRSC handle the Nigerianness in us?
We are all products of the society. And we celebrate the Western countries when we go there. The very lawful people. Why do we were always so lawless in the country? Why? In fact, the truth is social media, to a large extent, has diminished the strength of our law enforcement agencies. And that's why an average foreigner that enters this country might be seen us as I came out from the vehicle yesterday. One white man was coming out from somewhere, and I could see the reaction in his face as if he saw a ghost, until I say hi, like I'm a human being, because of the impression that has been created. Somebody would comport himself outside the country. Getting back to the country, he tells his friend, I'm back home, where everything goes. All what you are seeing,
Yes,
as
sir.
the problem today is what our system has decided to tolerate. All what you are seeing outside the country that looks so beautiful and perfect is what their system has accepted. If you try to make enforcement, which is the only solution, because there's for every action there must be consequence.
Absolutely.
When you stop a commercial vehicle in Lagos for not having wiper during rainy season, no real light, no headlamp, and it will move at night, and you tell the passengers this vehicle cannot go. Maybe in the Western world, advanced country, maybe the passengers will come down quietly and insult the drivers for delaying them. Or in Nigeria, it could be the other way around. That enforcer that has the effrontery to stop their vehicle will be the one that will face the wrath. People complain that vehicles were overloaded all over the places. We are not doing anything. I told them in 2024, between January and November, we arrested 620,000 offenders. That means we don't joke with enforcement. I started posting overloaded vehicles we arrested on the social media for people to know that we are doing a lot. Do you know the feedback I started getting? These are the ones that didn't give your men bribe. These are the ones you are not arresting some from the north. So the Nigerian factor is a major one that everybody will say, oh, you don't want, how do we want them to move their items from the farm to the office? There's no vehicle that is meant to carry rods. So we started adjusting too, giving understanding so that we don't rock the boat. The one that we know is not extremely too good for the system to bear, we get them hooked. There's no formation of FRSC you go today that you don't see every categories of vehicles. But another thing we encounter is the system does not permit that you arrest more than two vehicles at a time. So while I'm attending to one vehicle, others will be passing, and the person I'm attending to will say, why
are you holding these other ones?
And go, I can't leave and go and start running after the other one now. That one will also encounter another enforcer ahead that will get it. That is the way, because the truth is, the number of vehicles that are not fit for Nigerian roads are so enormous that will continue to do the job, will continue to arrest. Even some will tell you that they are ready to pay, like overloading. They say they are ready to pay for their overloading in advance because they cannot stop overloading. Have you heard that? In a sense space, would that one ever operate? That during rainy season, a man will use his towel as wiper, and there are passengers.
Let me tell you the one that I've seen. I was coming home in the middle of the night. A truck, no light. The guy on his camera phone and was using it to see.
That's the headlamp.
That's the headlamp. Phone touchlight. For me, that was the...
Stop that man. Stop that man. One standby will tell you, you don't give him money. Now money in the look for. Don't give him. We continue to clean up the space. We continue to do the needful, and we just believe that with the corporations of Nigeria, because the law of Nigeria permits all citizens to identify what is wrong and attend to it. When you see something, say something, will do something. Not when you see a truck, because I saw one time, have a loaded tanker, no tires at the rear. The next thing, the person video it, posted it on social media, and put a fine music at the background. But that's not the solution.
That one I'm guilty.
Enforcers don't run administration on social media. We have our contact, we have our formations. Reach out, we have 122, so that we can do something. We can stop that vehicle before it kills somebody. That is just what we can do for this country.
Thank you so much. So we have two of our friends in the house here. We have Mr. John, who's an engineer. He works in oil and gas. And we have Mr. Sele, who is an importer and exporter, if I got that correct, Sele.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
All right, so John goes first. John came first. And just one question each, please.
Thank you, Daddy Freeze, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, about Dangote and most of these haulage companies,
yes,
Dangote and Bua, I am a victim of.
John, your audio has gone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I'm a victim of a Bua accident.
Okay.
And when the accident happened, Bua trucks were lined up on the road. According to them, that is where they not usually park, on a federal highway. Road safety sees them. This happened in Port Harcourt. Just as you leave the Port Harcourt International Airport towards Equator, road safety sees them. The police sees them, and they do absolutely nothing. In fact, the trucks are parked. You know, even if you want to park on the road, there's a distance you have to give from a junction, from a U-turn. They are parked right on the U-turn. When this accident happened, road safety was on the scene. They came on the scene and they did not do anything to all the other trucks that were parked on the road. Till tomorrow, those trucks park on those roads with all the impunity in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They feel they own those roads. In fact, the police are even scared of talking to them. The police are really scared of talking to them. And this accident happened. There were 5 passengers in the car, including my 9-year-old son. Road safety came to the scene, saw the scene, and walked away. Till date, have not been held accountable. There was no visit to the hospital. They had no insurance to take care of damages. And sir, I know only you cannot make the change road safety requires. Only you cannot make the change road safety. You might be one of the very good ones. But I'm telling you, sir, categorically, in camera, even in the front of the President of the Federal Republic, I will say this. The team that came to that scene, we are so irresponsible. They came and saw a car badly damaged with all the occupants of the car in hospital. They just came and drove away. And when I returned to the scene, they had gone. They don't know their business. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe I really don't know what happened. But they came and they drove away. So we can go to TV and say all these nice passages. I am a first-hand witness.
I'm really sorry for your pains, and the way you were surprised, the same way I'm surprised. We have a character. I have to be sincere with you. Federal Safety Corps, we have a character, and our character is about diligence, it's about commitment, it's about sympathy. I will not deny the fact that we have some people that are not fit.
Some bad eggs.
Some bad eggs, and it's almost everywhere. I'm not here to street talk anybody. I just gave the narratives of how I started my career in the system, and I'm still standing firm today. But even then, we still have the bad ones. But this thing you just narrated now must have happened maybe some weeks back, some months back. But the management cannot. The management cannot talk when we don't have information. FRSC is a system that will never tolerate any irresponsibility, because we have a brand that we have so much appreciated in the last 38 years. In fact, when we see attacks coming all over the places against us, we always have this feel that these attacks are coming because we are still relevant, because people still love us. Nobody bothers about a rotten mango. Have you ever seen someone that throws a stick at a mango that is not fruitful? So we know that
maybe these attacks are coming because we Nigerians don't have a choice. We are left with just
you have.
We are left with just two people. What choice do we have?
Let me tell you what. Don't say you don't have a choice.
What choice do we have?
John, let me bring Sele. Let Sele ask his question too. Please don't be angry. I've kept our guest for almost an hour trying to rush back home. So he's exhausted. He's doing us a favor, a huge favor.
I know, yeah.
You understand? And this is the first time we're having a high-level FRSC officer addressing the public or social. There are things I did not know that I learned today. So I am sure that I can talk to him to follow up on even this your case, because apparently the case is in court now, John, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the case is in court.
That's between you and Bua.
Yes.
All right.
I did not come for him to follow up on the case. I came for him to make sure they get whosoever in charge of that sector to make sure those trucks are no longer parked on the road. Those trucks are not meant to be there.
Kellen, you know what you do? If you are very familiar with Lagos, you know enforcement is not just rocket science. It takes time. When you talk of these trucks, if you are very familiar with Lagos Ibadan Express, do you know the number of years it took us before we could clear these vehicles off Ogiri? We engage the traditional rulers.
So why do we have to engage the traditional rulers for people to do what is right?
Wait, let us not deceive
Arrest
ourselves.
them. Arrest them.
Arrest. Okay, we just spoke. How come we engage the military? You think if a trailer stands on the center of the road now and leave the vehicle, I will just go there with my foreman and say, "Oh yeah, move," without anything? Or
you're armless men.
100 people with the boys carried knife. You just go there and say, "Oh yeah, move the truck out of here." it takes a lot of engagement. That's why we started talking about the traditional rulers, because you speak the language they understand to them. The way we're able to clear that, we have cleared so many areas in the north too. The one that concerns me, in as much as I know this is an information you have passed to me, which I will pass across to the sector commander, River State, how I wish you still remember the date this incident happened.
30th of December, 30th of December 2024.
30th of December.
December 2024 by 9 a.m. in the morning.
2024, 9 a.m. in the morning. Which route? Which route?
Airport Road, Port Harcourt.
Airport Road.
Equita Airport Road, Port Harcourt.
Equita?
Yes.
Can you spell the Equita for me?
IGWURTA.
RTA. Okay. This is a good information. Whereas there's nothing, no matter what anybody does that is not communicated to the management, you will not be able to know. You have the date, you have the route, you have the time. They will locate, because outside, if you have the leverage where you were assisted by the men, your bitterness will not have been to this level. You will have been able, you will have developed a kind of friendliness with us. You will have gotten succor. That, oh, the FRSC men were there to support. This is the news we hear all over the places when crashes occur. Because the directive is that irrespective of the enforcement you are doing, your priority is to rescue. You have to abandon every other thing and rescue those people. And we have 30 days follow-up to every crash that we take to the hospital. So why would they abandon you? Under what guise? This we have to investigate. So sorry for the pain.
Thank you very much, sir.
As you win your case, court case, please.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you, John. John, come down. Sele asks his question, and then some guy that operates a truck has been begging me since, and that's all.
Okay, boss.
Okay. Good day, everyone. Once again, to the FRSC officer that is here, I really want to commend your marshal, or as you call them, on the very, very amazing work that you're doing, because of the affluence of people we have on the road in Nigeria. But then again, I have a series of questions to ask and some recommendations for you. The first question I would have to ask is this: how do you guys enforce the rules on people that are meant to enforce the rules on Nigerians using the road? That's my first question. How do you guys ensure that the officers standing on the road, given that authority to enforce and execute the rule of law, are actually doing what is meant to be done?
Okay.
That's it. And secondly, you spoke about a framework that you guys put in place in order to ensure that every other sector working or using the road are actually up to date and doing what is required of them to do. So how do you guys make sure that the roadworthiness are actually done in due course, and every vehicle that plows the road is roadworthy? How does the corps, thanks for the correction, how does the corps ensure that there is due diligence in obtaining every roadworthiness that is given to every haulage company, every logistic company, every big company that uses the road? How do you guys make sure that the roadworthiness is actually, there is due diligence and every vehicle is inspected?
Okay, press X as he answers, he ends. I don't want to stress him anymore. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Let me just quickly respond. You talk about monitoring our men on the road. One, we have different levels of monitoring. We have the unit level, we have the sector level, we have the zonal level, then the headquarter level. Every man you see on the highway that is FRSC staff that gets involved in one misconduct or the other is strictly on his own. From Abuja, we have our intelligent operatives that goes about occasionally, that's outside the other different levels I've mentioned in the field, to mop up every series of misconduct. I am not denying the fact that we have hide and seek. When they have fillers, they comport themselves when they are not there. It's not just about to the general public. We do have part of it too, even as superiors. When they don't know you. I was at an operation in Ondo State one time, and I was returning from Ibadan back to Akure, and my own man, one of my staff, misbehaved in the vehicle, not knowing that I was inside the vehicle. I picked him up, because these are the things we were trained to do as a senior officer. Anytime you see these men getting involved in misconduct, so they don't even know when it will happen. So they're always on guard. So we have that one, we have the unit level, we have the sector level. And you also agree with me that for those in Abuja, you know some of these people are operating with cameras. The vehicles they have cameras. Even some of them wear the camera, although to protect them from attack and also record what is happening around their vicinity. So we don't joke with monitoring of our men. And because I know what has always been high in the minds of people is this issue of compromise. I've been reading a lot about the issue of corruptions and bribe. There is no return syndrome in FRSC. Every boy, every man, every woman you see there out there wearing FRSC uniform that brings out his hand to collect money from you is doing it for himself and his family. On daily basis, they are being terminated, they are being dismissed. And when you are gone, you are gone. So they are taking risk. If they survive for the day, good for them. But if they are caught, that's the end of the job. So they are not there to represent Federal Safety Corps. They are there to represent their family members when they get involved in misconduct outside what they were asked to go and do. And for roadworthiness, that is strictly the business of vehicle inspection services. What FRSC does is to move. If you say you have your roadworthiness paper and the vehicle you are carrying is not roadworthy, road safety will tow the vehicle and take it off the road. We are not the one that give roadworthiness. I recall in Lagos, Mr. Governor gave the directive that this idea of issuing paper should stop. People, maybe you notice, freeze, that people go to Jojo and so many areas now to show their vehicle physically before they are given roadworthiness paper. Is as a result of various complaints that came up. That you see a vehicle that is rickety and is carrying roadworthy paper. So what is roadworthy about a rickety vehicle? So it's not just a matter of tradition or routine. It's doing the right thing. When the vehicle is not fit for the road, let's keep it off the road. And that's what we have been doing. But still, we'll see the challenge. The economy is too bad. You don't want the man to survive. But when life is involved, FRSC is not undertaker. We are there to save, to protect, to stop life from being wasted. But when it happens, what can we do? This is the only establishment that when people get involved in crashes, when people are burnt, we are the only one that goes there to pack the carcass. We are the one that dips our hand inside blood. No other agency. You can quote me. No other agency. And you think it's pleasant? That you can go home for days, you'll not be able to eat meat? That's why we get angry when we see people threatening or, misuse, just for us to express our displeasure that life is. Do you know last year alone, more than 5,000 people were killed? Even insurgents has not killed that number. Even when what was it called? This one outbreak we had all over the world recently, never killed that number in throughout the circle of that was the
COVID
incident that happened. COVID. Every year, an average of 5,000 people are being killed. It's only when it touches your family that you know. But we are the one that keep the data. It's not just figure. There are faces behind those data. And that's where we are.
Thank you very much, sir. Quick question, brother. Because you said you had a truck company, ask your question in 30 seconds, and let's end it.
So that it freeze. What I have to say is that I do not think that the FRSC is doing their job enough. I don't even think you guys are even doing anything at all. Because most of the car in Nigeria and the truck, there is no single day that they will drive and they will not pass through your men. There is no way. Now, I live in this city. I have a trucking business. And there is a process, there is a rules here, okay?
You live where?
I live in the United States.
Okay.
Enforcement here is not a joke. When it comes to enforcement, it's no joke. Now, before you get your CDL, that is the Class A license.
Can you just make it snappy?
There is a way you get it. Yeah. So before you get your CDL, there's a way you get your CDL. And during that process, you will be told there are some things you need to know when it comes to the safety, when it comes to like a protective inspection as a driver. And at the end of the day, if they find your road not worthy that your truck on the road, there is a fine.
Okay, bro. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut you because I think you joined late. He has expressed and explained he has touched on all these. I thought there was one major question that he wanted to ask.
They are not enforcing it. That is also what I am trying to say.
He has explained.
Let's give him the space.
Okay, I do because I thought that you were tired, so that.
That the phrase, I get it. I have been to Nigeria like few times, and I can tell you that I have met and I have had an encounter with FRSC. The way they were doing the job, I don't even know they know what they are doing, and I'm very sure about it. Even the police in Nigeria, most of them, when you give your document to the police, they don't even know what they are checking. So now my question is that, what are your men checking on the road? Because there's a lot of truck on the road that they are not worthy. We see videos online. And there is no way you can tell me that those trucks will drive on the road without passing through your men. What are your men doing? How do you enforce this law? There was a time I come to that first life and I told you that a driver of mine drive a truck and he made an illegal turn. And he could not get out of that turn. That situation cost us $20,500. That is the fine to tow the truck. $20,500. So do you think that I will let my driver?
Excuse, did you resist paying the money?
No.
Did you call any big man to intervene for you?
No.
But you paid?
Yeah, we paid.
Okay, when did you leave the country?
But I have a question. For you. Is it my fault to call a big man for you and you allow?
Wait, I just ask you. Okay. You are talking about the scenario. I was thinking you are in the country. I didn't know you are outside the country.
I'm outside the country.
Yes, it's so unfair, and maybe that's why that the phrase said you came in late. It's so unfair for you to have stayed back in United States and said FRSC. You started initially by being a little bit fair, but you ended up by saying they are doing nothing.
Yeah, but because we have so many cases.
Excuse me, when you say they are doing nothing, you don't judge from your own angle.
Okay.
Do you know what it takes to go and do rescue at night when crashes occur without being protected? Do you know when there are gridlocks and because you just limited yourself to truck to judge an establishment? Do you know what it means when everything was blocked and it takes these people under the sun, under the rain? The atmosphere under which you operate there as a truck driver is different from what even your law enforcement agencies that you operate with over there is quite different. Before you start comparing and judging that they are doing nothing, that's why I raised that issue of standard. Your men there, when your traffic agency stops you, do you threaten that you are going to run them down? Because there's every consequence for everything. The mindset in Africa is what we are managing. We are all reflections of the same society. So when you move outside the country and you are seeing something different, coming back to the country, you should be able to. That's why I'm not taking what you are saying now for granted.
But the issue is enforcement.
It's the same thing we are saying.
So let me give you, sir. I am not the one to enforce the law. You guys are the ones to enforce the law.
You are right.
So
Now,
if you
we are
think
comparing notes. Enforcement it takes two to tango.
Okay. So you are mute, sir. We cannot even hear you.
Okay. So, my dear brother, thank you so much, MC Vibes, and God bless you.
For your contribution.
My anger with this is he didn't listen from the beginning. He was judgmental. We are here to have a conversation.
Recklessly judgmental.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we need Dangote, we need Bua, we need FRSC, and you people, if everybody left Nigeria and left only FRSC, who you people catch? So at the end of the day, we all have to work together, appreciate each other, and learn. Sometimes it's my fault, sometimes it's FRSC's fault, sometimes the truck driver's fault, sometimes it's just a conversation we need to have, sometimes it's more enlightenment that needs to be done. So I thank you so much, sir, for your time. I apologize for the last guy. He was a bit rude.
No, it's normal.
But I'm sure you guys encountered that on the road. So you are used to it. And these are the streets of social media. There's not much difference. Thank you so much for your time, sir. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure people watching this video will also learn a lot. Do share the video. Let more people watch and be enlightened. And if there's anything I learned today, it is the fact that Nigerian FRSC officials need to carry arms. Thank you so much, sir. Any last words as you're going, sir?
Your life is precious. Drive to stay alive, especially as we enter this Ember month. For you to be in 2026, please use the race safely and consider other road users. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Have a great night, sir. Thank you so much. This is so appreciated. So, guys, I'm going to come back in about an hour when we can do our weekend gossip and gist. But I am honored to have a high-ranking FRSC official with us tonight to explain what really happens on our roads and to interface between the FRSC and the Nigerian population. Thank you, and God bless you all. See you guys later. TikTok, we're going to come back later. Someone say, don't go now. I'll come back. Let me catch my breath. I've been live for almost 2 hours, and I'm still going to, you still want me for another 2 hours. So let me just catch my breath. Take care and God bless. Bye.